Hi, everyone, and happy belated Independence Day to all of you. We start a new month here in July on the topic of resisting sin and temptation. Over the last couple of months, we've looked into lust and immorality. So today we will turn to Romans 8:13, which I'll read for you from the King James translation. For if ye live after the flesh, ye shall die. But if ye through the Spirit do mortify the deeds of the body, ye shall live. As I was reading this verse and working on what I was going to discuss on this, the recent Supreme Court decision on the Dobbs versus Jackson Women's Health Organization came to my mind. For almost 50 years, the decision by the Supreme Court on January 22nd, 1973, which allowed women to choose to have an abortion nationwide, has resulted in over 60 million babies in the womb being killed. It is a prime example of how people have lived after the flesh. As a result of those decisions, totally ignoring God's design for marriage, it has only led to a host of sexually transmitted diseases, unplanned pregnancies, and a trail of damage. While I give a current example, we have plenty of examples of those in the Bible that have submitted to their flesh. Many of the kings of Israel and Judah clearly disobeyed God by worshiping other gods, including Baal and the Asherah poles, just to name a few. Those kings who did evil in the eyes of the Lord followed the sins of Jeroboam, son of Nebat, who caused Israel to commit and did not turn away from them. They were ultimately placed into Babylonian captivity. This and many other messages are warnings that God has written His word about the dangers of living in the flesh. However, if we look at the second part of the verse, by living in the Spirit and mortifying, or as the NIV translation says, put to death the misdeeds of the body, we can live a victorious life. As Jesus said in Matthew 7:13 and 14, we need to stay on the narrow path because the wide road leads to destruction. Now, for me as a civil engineer, I like wide roads with sufficient shoulders. However, those wide and fast roads can sometimes become an issue. With a narrow road, you will most likely slow down and be more careful. I see it as the Holy Spirit can sometimes be a guide rail for us and protect us from any kind of fleshly lust that we may have. We read this verse and the message is very simple. We have a God that loves us and gave us the Holy Spirit as a comforter. However, our daily routines get in the way and we at times may succumb to our fleshly desires. Jeremiah 17:9 tells us that the heart is deceitful above all things and beyond cure. Going back to verses 10 and 11, while we might be dead because of sin, the Spirit is alive in us because of the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Continue to encourage to pray for each other, and thank you for joining us today.